Hello students. So today we'll start with the next chapter, that is gravitation. Okay, I know you must be knowing something already about gravitation. Here I'm having a ball, okay, and I'm leaving it. What happened? It went down. And we studied in the previous chapter that if something comes into motion, then to bring something into motion, what is necessary? Yes, force is necessary. That means when this ball came into motion, some force was acting on it, right? All the things which are on the surface of the earth, they are attracted towards the surface of the earth automatically. Is that automatic or there's some force acting on it? Even if I throw something upwards, not only downwards, even if I throw this ball upwards, what will happen? It will come back down on its own. Is it really on its own? No. You know, you all are smart. A force is acting on it. Which force? Gravitational force. Gravitational force is the force of the earth. What is gravitational force? The force exerted by earth. It is also called gravity of earth. This force brings or attracts all the objects towards itself. Okay, so today we are going to learn about gravitation in details. You must have studied about gravitation in your previous classes. In this 9th standard, you will study everything about gravitation. What is the force of gravitation? What is the formula for gravitation? Newton's universal law of gravitation, the units, its formula, the numericals, and then gravity, acceleration due to gravity, all those things. Okay, so you must be knowing the old story, the very famous story that when one day Newton was lying under an apple tree, an apple fell down, and then this got him thinking that why did the apple fell down? Why didn't it go anywhere else? Since he knew about the laws of motion, so he was very sure that a force pulls the apple down. Even on the dry leaves from the trees, where do they go? They fall down, right? And just now as we saw, you throw anything, it will be attracted towards the surface of the earth. Actually, it is attracted towards the center of the earth. So if this is the earth and if we say this is the center of the earth, then this gravitational force attracts every object towards the center. So this force is a central force. What is the meaning of a central force? That the force acts along the line joining the two centers. If this is one object, its center is over here. This is another object. Which object? Earth. Its center is over here. So this force will act along the line joining the two forces. This is gravitational force. Okay. Then, since Newton came to know that a force attracts the apple and that is why the apple falls downwards, he invented this force, named it Newton behind his name, and then he started working with many things, big objects, small objects, two small objects, and many more objects, and started finding out whether only earth attracts the objects towards itself or this force is everywhere. So he came to know that this force is a universal force. What is the meaning of a universal force? Which acts everywhere in the universe. It's a universal force. This force acts between all the objects which are having mass. Any object which has mass exerts and experiences the gravitational force. Okay, so since earth has a lot of mass in it, earth exerts a gravitational force on all the objects. And since this object, let us call this a ball, This ball also has a mass. So this ball also exerts a gravitational force. So if you have like these two marker pens, then these two are also having mass. So they are also exerting a gravitational force on each other. Oh, then why don't they move towards each other? Gravitational force is always an attractive force. Remember, what is it? It is an attractive force. So, these two marker pens are not getting attracted towards each other. Why so? That we'll learn in a short time. So, this is a central force, universal force, and it is an attractive force. So, what did Newton infer from his experiments? He saw that if there are two objects having masses m1 and m2, and if they are separated by a distance r, say it can be r, d, whatever. So, if there are two masses separated by a distance r, there is a force which attracts between both of them. That force is directly proportional to the product of their masses. Product, multiplication of both the masses m1 and m2. That force is inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. Inversely proportional to square of the distance. The distance between them is r. So square of the distance, r square. This force is inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. Combining both of them, we get force is directly proportional to m1, m2 by r square. Okay. Now this is a proportionality sign. It depends upon various things like where the object is kept, or what is the medium between the objects, and masses and all. But here, since this is a universal force, it doesn't depend upon the medium where these objects are kept. It doesn't depend upon their masses also. It is a universal gravitational constant. So removing this proportionality sign with a gravitational constant, F is equals to capital G. Proportionality sign removed, equal to sign, and in place of this proportionality sign there comes a constant. So since it's a gravitational constant, it is denoted by capital G, m1 m2 by r square. This is the universal law of gravitation. Universal law of gravitation says that any two bodies in the universe, they can be any two bodies, celestial bodies. Celestial means which are in the space, like between Jupiter and Earth. These two are in the space. So gravitational force will act between Jupiter and Earth. For example, between Earth and a star. Earth and stars both are in the space. So the gravitational force will act between them also. On the surface of the Earth, near the surface of the Earth, everywhere in the universe, this force will act on any two bodies. Now, m1, m2 upon r square is equals to F. So what do we learn from here? That force is directly proportional to the product of their masses. That means if there's a very huge body like Earth and a small body like ball, then the product of their masses is going to be large, because mass of the Earth is very, very high. So this product, since it's in the numerator, it is directly proportional to the force. That means heavier the bodies, more the mass of the bodies, more will be the force, gravitational force. Secondly, force is inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. Inverse proportionality means this is in the denominator. If r, or the distance between the bodies, decreases, if r is less, r square will be lesser. If it is lesser, then force will be high, very high. That means if R is less, means the bodies are very close. Okay, this R is very less. The bodies are very close. If the bodies are close, the force of attraction is high. If R is more means the bodies are far away. Okay, the bodies are far away. If they are far away, R square will be more. Okay, and force will be lesser. So, if bodies are very close to each other, the force of attraction is very high. If they go on going far away, the force of attraction decreases. Plus, the force of attraction is directly proportional to the product of their masses. So, more the mass, more the force, right? What will be the unit of the force? Obviously, force has the unit newtons. So, this whole thing will have the unit, SI unit, Newton. What will be the CGS unit? CGS unit will be dyne. Okay, and we've already learned the relationship between Newton and dyne. How many dyne is how much Newton. Okay, let's look at the formula for or let's look at the unit for G. Since F is equals to G m1 m2 by r square, if we want to know the unit of G, then what do? G is equals to take all the other things on the opposite side. So F will be multiplied by r square, m1 m2 will come down. Okay. Now G has the units of all these. So what is the unit of force? Newton. R will be in SI units of R. Since R is the distance, so SI unit of R will be meter. R square, so meter square. M1, M2 are masses. So SI unit will be kg into kg. So kg square. So what is the unit, SI unit of universal gravitational constant? Newton meter square per kg square. Okay, Newton meter square per kg square. What will be the CGS unit of G? CGS unit of G will be, in place of Newton, we'll have dyne. In place of meter square, we'll have centimeter square. In place of kg square, we'll have gram square. Dyne centimeter square per gram square. Okay. So, this is the unit of formula and unit of the universal gravitational constant. So, this is the universal law of gravitation. What is the statement of the universal law of gravitation? We'll write the statement because this is frequently asked. Statement of universal law of gravitation. Every object in the universe attracts every other object. With a force which is directly proportional to the product of their masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. Mathematically, it can be written as, if there are two objects m1, m2 separated by a distance of r, then both of them attract each other by a force which is directly proportional to the product of their masses, inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. Okay, this is the statement of the universal law of gravitation, and this is the mathematical expression. Again, what will be the SI unit of force? Newton. What is G over here? Remember, capital G is the universal gravitational constant. Okay, universal gravitational constant. Its value doesn't depend upon the medium between the two bodies, doesn't depend upon the mass, doesn't depend upon the distance between the two bodies. It is a universal constant which acts between any two bodies, whether atomic, whether huge celestial bodies, whether small like this marker and a duster, between two bodies, between two persons, whatever. Okay, this gravitational constant is a constant which is true for all the bodies between which the gravitational force acts. In the next video, we will study how to find or what is the exact value of the force between a big and a small body, two small bodies and two big bodies. Okay, till then keep revising.